Got the chain. Okay, so the chain drop down. Okay, so we got a freeze frame here, which is this preset right here. I apply it to a freeze frame. Boom, shake, which is this preset right here. Go back, shake, looks like this. And type in, I'm gonna save this. There's a new preset included in the AEP. Save this as a shake step 29. Just apply it on an adjustment layer. Boom. Shake again. Chain jumps up, jumps down. Da, da, da. Boom. Jump up, jump down. Preset is spin drop. It's 4K footage, so I apply this, which is going to be 4K. This is 960 for 1080 footage. Make sure your anchor point is there. Make sure it's 3D before you apply the preset. Anchor point, hit Y. Make sure your anchor point's in the middle. Make sure your anchor point left number is always going to be consistent on the position keyframes, while this right number goes left and right. After that, you're good. Next, we zoom in to the chain. Boom, how you zoom in. I got a inverted roto of the chain. And then we zoom through by, what I like to do is I like to make it 3D instead of like a 3D camera. I'm just zooming through with this extreme fault right number. Then you just zoom. You just go through the chain like that. This number gets bigger and you adjust left and right coordinates. You just slide like that. Two, 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 3D space. That's how I do that. So it's sliding through chain part. Boom. How I, excuse me, if you're working on regular footage, like a whole video put together already, as opposed to just footage clips, you can rewind, you can reverse footage and put it like reverse. And then like that way it reverses into like the next scene in case you want to have it there before the scene appears. If that makes sense, but then you are looking at a spin drop. I basically cut up a freeze frame of the last, like when I do end freeze frames at the last, like I'll right click the end of the scene before the next scene comes up, freeze on last frame. Then you can like cut that and then use that as a freeze frame to work off of, which is what I did here. So here you see I like to label what it is I'm rotoscoping, the body here, top, head, and left, right was for the background. So what I did is I think background. Let's see. But yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah. So what I ended up doing is I just cut the left side, rolled that right side of him of the background, which is what you see. If I take this out, all you see is like these two parts dropping. So boom. Just getting creative, like cutting out and go away. And then all I do is apply this preset when I want stuff to spin and drop and do all that stuff. I use this a lot. And same concept, I'll make sure 3D is checked. I'll open up my transform tool. Well, first I'll get my anchor, and I'll make sure it's in the middle of whatever it is I'm trying to make spin or whatever. And then I'll go to my transform tools, and I'll make sure the starting position, is accurate, is matching the anchor position. And then I'll make sure this left anchor number stays consistent on every position keyframe so it can stay in place, and then it drops down like that. Uh, and I pretty much did the same for like his body. When you look, or yeah, his body, and then the top part, I did something too. But then, like, yeah, if you look at the top part of his body, it's pretty much the same thing. Like, if you want to make his body jump up, down, I have several presets, pretty much all the same concept. I just probably use this, and I just made sure I hit Y anchor point in the middle of him, and then I will apply a preset at the beginning of the clip. Starting position is going to be anchor point. Coordinates, you copy those, you paste it, and then make sure you copy this left number, make sure it stays consistent. And then that's how you do that. It's another transition. Slides are smooth. Oh yeah, like a freeze frame like this. Scale wipe. Take the freeze frame of the first, like if I go to the first frame here, it's gonna be my freeze frame. I will make a freeze frame of that. And I'll put it behind the scene so it can freeze frame transition into it. And then like I think I had the scale wipe and I did a position. So where like if I take the scale wipe off, this is how it looks when I slide him on like that. And pretty much I did the same thing on the left side too. So pretty much just get creative with the cutouts. If you see an opportunity where it looks like this scene, you have him in the car, you can just separate like how that separated him and the car seat, the two parts of the screen are split. You could do split screen stuff like that. I could have did something with his hat, you know what I'm saying? Like it's up to you to just think outside the box like that. And then all I did was add the scale wipe to give that stretched look. And then of course, once it's done, boom, you got the shake. You can apply that same preset. And I think I even did like a little swivel thing where if I take the shake off, you might be able to see it. If you type in new swivel, this will give you this type of look if you use that preset. And then of course, right click, reset to make sure your coordinates are straight with your always make sure your coordinates are straight by right clicking and resetting. And with your video. So like if you see it's like a swivel, boom, like a I probably should let it stretch out a little bit more to finish it off. But yeah, boom, boom. It's like a little whip, a wobble, a wiggle. Okay, and then you put a little shake with that, and you kind of get a nice little boom. You could even zoom in if you want. But yeah. So next one was I think a slide or something where he slides. Let's see what was next. Yeah, it was a slide onto the screen. How did we get to this? So was it transition? Okay, cool. So no. So oh yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, yeah, so pretty much this next let's see. Auto save. So yeah, pretty much you just gotta Okay, cool. So with this, looks like I have something slide on here. So for these slide transitions, you're just, it looks smooth because people nowadays like to add like something behind it called echo, or you could even, like what I use, I created a preset, use trail, where you literally duplicate the roto layer, pre-compose, and then apply this preset, and it gives you this look. Um, but yeah, so he's basically just sliding on like that. Like it's just him sliding on, but it looks like that because I added the echo behind it, which is kind of popular nowadays. Smooth it out. And then you have two options. You know, the reason you see this is because I use something called Animate Animation Composer, but obviously it's just a plugin that you probably might have to invest in if you're looking for a free version of it. I custom made these slides. The main two I use are left and right and up and down, which should be fine as long as you use the right one for your footage. Here, I make a adjustment layer and show you how I do it. So if I take this off, it's blank. And the main thing is making sure you transition from, he's sliding on to the scene before this to his current scene. So pretty much you just want to make sure he's reverse roto and then his regular roto is still there. Where he slides on that scene and then he's sitting on the scene, his regular scene. Then underneath his regular scene roto, between his regular scene roto and this scene, when he's sliding on, you want this scene to slide off behind him. So how you do that is you put an adjustment layer, go to the beginning of it by clicking I. Now the gate slide, this one is for 4K footage, and then this one is regular 1920 footage. That's the two options. And then this has like a little side effect that you can also use, but I recommend just sticking with this. These two, and then I also have slide. If you type in slide down, these two are for like up and down, as opposed to left and right. This is for 1920 footage, and this is for 4K footage. And they should work fine. Literally, you shouldn't have to touch it as long as you use the correct one for your footage. Those are two uh transition like slides for your footage. So here's how it looks if I use this is 4K footage, so if I use that, that's gonna go up and down. So like this. Now see how sometimes your footage may not come out correctly, and I usually motion blur that. How you do it, like I said before, is you right click and always hit reset just in case it's not adjusted. Now in this case, you may have to tweak this a bit. So I would, you know, that's your starting position. And then, you know, it's just sliding up and down. So it should work out fine. You just gotta kind of tweak. Like if you have like footage that's not the normal dimensions, 1920 or 3840, which in this case it wasn't, I would say just look at where the keyframes start and end and just adjust. You'll be able to eyeball it, what's right, what's not. Um, you know, like if you see like here, I would just tweak that number so it ends correctly. Like, and that's it. So it's sliding up and down like that, boom. And then if I want to do left, right, it might be a little bit more of a task, but not really. Like I'll show you. So let's just remove all this. That was sliding down here. Let's see. Go back to gate. Everybody hit this. And so boom, see how it comes out funky. So all you gotta do, yeah, you don't need that. So we um we know like if you look, you can see, okay, this is the starting position normally. So you can copy that number and apply it there. So boom, now it's in place, but it's sliding left and right. So you just got to make sure this end keyframe slides into place. It may be a little bit off, obviously, if your footage is not directly 4K and it's a little different, but just tweak it, just slide it, and then it should work out fine. Because the concept is just, it's a motion tile. So you're just sliding from one part of the tile to another, either left and right or up and down. So you're good after that. Oh, wait a minute. Oops. Now, what I would say real quick, the only thing I forgot is the number there wasn't 1920 because it was some larger number. So here's what we can do. We can, well, that's going to be our regular number. And then the starter number, just adjust that number the same way we did before to the end. You're just going to do that to the beginning instead. So just like that. That way, you just want it to slide. So it should work now. You should, excuse me, there you go. Yeah, so it should slide. So there you go. And then boom. So after that, but like I said, if you have regular, 380, 40 footage, you don't have to do all this because it's automatically gonna fit to a 4K or a 1920. It's when you have like those other numbers, so next one is this one, another slide. So I basically had him take that off and I can use the slide we just made, which is another cool thing about using adjustment layers. You can duplicate them and put them anywhere you want them in the footage to save time. So he's gonna slide. Uh, and I think I gotta adjust crazy adjustment. Boom, sliding more choice. Okay. So I think I was off from the coordinates over there. Okay, so just playing around always helps. So there you go. Boom. So he's in the place that he needs to be. And there we go. So we're gonna start there pretty much to where he just needs to slide off so you can slide into the next scene. Now how I do that is, okay, basically if you take him, you rotoscope him because we're gonna zoom through his body. And then we also want a version of him. Oh, actually, no, we don't need a version of him. We just need to cut out the background where he was, like that. That's going to be the layer we zoom into. Make sure it is 3D. So if we ignore that real quick and we focus on like you're sliding from pretty much one scene to the next. So these are my two scenes, the current scene there, and then the next scene right there. You just kind of, this is pretty much the point of it, to have a slide transition. On top of it, the only thing is you're zooming, he's sliding, and then boom. So that's how it looks without like the zoom through effect. It's just a regular slide transition, but the point is to like zoom through while it's doing that. So what am I doing here? All I really did was just zoom through his body the same way we kind of zoomed through that chain earlier. You just play with this far right number. The more negative it gets, the bigger it gets. And then the more to the right, the smaller it gets. So all you're doing is just playing around. You hit the starting position and then you're in position. You can tweak it like this to make it zoom through his body, or you can do a 3D camera. It's up to you, but yeah, that's pretty much all I did was got it to push through while it's doing that. That's that. And after that, I did let's see, did one of these, I think it was a zoom. Okay, I think that was just was a shape, so I had a shape there. Then for this, yeah, I had another one of those freeze frames where I cut out the freeze frame of the next scene, which is that right there. That's him. I cut him out and added this one again, my go-to Turb Scale 9. I'll apply that to the roto freeze frame and I'll adjust the coordinates, hit this, and I'll usually center it in the middle. So you kind of get that scale wipe look and then it kind of pops in. And then I normally just add like a shape there or something. Like you could add a shape right there once he like boom. And then that's that. So next one was the sliding effect again, where he kind of slides off the screen, if I'm not mistaken. Same concept where I put like the trail effect behind his roto, duplicated his roto, added the trail, and then he's sliding. So in this case, if you want to just take that off and use the one we made again down here, drag that up there. Oops. And now we can slide it there. And excuse me, he's sliding off while this is sliding as well. And all you got to do is like set it up to where the current scene and then the next scene are like it's a transition basically. So if you always look at it from this perspective of like I just need to transition from like one scene to the next, then you're good. That's the next scene, but this was the current scene. I think I just ended up having it, yeah, like boom. On this, I think I ended up pushing it to the left. So if I take that off, this is how it actually looks, which is cool too. You can do this too. You can set up a slide. You could always just push the background off. That's like a whole transition. Have it push off. And this could even push on while it pushes off. That's a transition. Small stuff like that. You could even, to make it better, you could even have like this could scale in. I like scale ins because it gives a little more depth. So instead of it just looking like this, when it appears, you can type in scale in. It's gonna, and according to what footage you have, 960 or 4K, which is 1920, choose which one. And then if you need to like right click, reset, see how it reset to what it's supposed to be. That's what you just do, and then it'll be fine. So now it's like it's gonna scale in, blur in, like that. That'll like that's just adds a little more depth, like that. And so that's something in itself. But instead of just that, I think I went ahead and just added the slide on top of it. So now it's like a slide underneath that layer. So I added a slide on top of the next scene. And as that pushed off, this lit off. So it was, just extra. And then on top of this, I also had his rotoscope. Now that's the echo layer that I made after I did the position keyframes for this. As you can see him sliding to the right while the background slides to the left. And then here's the main layer. So with all that combined, all those elements, which is a lot, you could still break it down, do less, and it still would look nice. But yeah, that's how you get that effect, which is still fast as well. But yeah, so after that, uh we have another freeze frame effect. I type in FF and all the freeze frame stuff is gonna pop up. Mainly these under WW Auto I would go for. But this one is going to be grain 11 or grain 12, and that's a quick one. I would only do 7 seconds of a freeze frame. I mean, frames of the freeze frame and apply the preset, and then boom, there you go. And see, once it hit, I had rotoed him for about like 16. And then I did, I think, a scale, yeah, scale in, scale up, made him bigger, and brought him back to normal size, like a pop effect once the freeze frame hit. And then I also like did a deep glow. I call it the chap. If you type in chap, fade glow fade out, I like to apply that to stuff, which is what I believe I applied here. So it's like a glow fade out, like that, boom, just to kind of make it pop. And that, of course, was followed with a shake and apparently a swivel. Yeah, I added a swivel. See how it looks without the shake, just the swivel. See, like that little wobbly effect again. Now I cut it too short, so it looks crazy. Let me try it again. But yeah, and then with the shake, boom. Now you got your shake, just whatever. So small stuff like that, you can just really do a lot with that too. Now, um, but anyways, yeah. So last one I think was a fade out. You can do a whole bunch of stuff with stuff like this, like small stuff, freeze frames and quick little rotos. You know, this freeze frame just kind of dropped, I think, or maybe it was no, I think it was a roto. It was a roto. Freeze frame roto. Actually, it really wouldn't matter. It's still the concept is just it dropped off, which is scale white and then position. You do a lot with that too. Those two combined gives you a nice little look, like a melt off look. And boom. The reason it looks like that is because I duplicated this, pre-composed it once I had it all done, then added that use trail look again. And that's how you do that. Excuse me. And that's it for this